Minister, thanks so much for your time. Please tell us your fondest memories of Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela.
I remember very well that as a young student at medical school, she came to address us. And because at that time the university was a divided university with a black section and a white section. But trying to unite the students, trying to ensure, motivate us to fight and not despair and fight for freedom, because we were at the height of oppression then. But Comrade Winnie, despite the challenges of the small group of the ex-Rhodesians who were trying to disrupt the meeting, she stood fast and continued and motivated all of us. But I also remember Comrade Winnie as a young leader of the ANC, when she come and visit you in your region, normally we brief them, the leadership. She was very impatient with that. She said, comrade, we all know the conditions of the people who are going to address. We all know their suffering, because at that time it was just after the Shobane incidents and other incidents which were traumatizing the people in the area. Let's just go and address them and listen to them, and we'll respond to them there on the ground. So she was a foot soldier. She was not an armchair politician or a boardroom politician. That's what I remember. But also, this week, as a person who's deployed by the African National Congress in Free State, we had these memorial services. I attended two in Free State, one organized by ANC and one organized by the EFF, where we really want to push for her legacy. Because under her banishment, she didn't despair. She didn't say, I don't understand Sesotho or Setswana. She quickly adapted to the situation she was finding in and started looking after the children, putting a mobile clinic, putting a daycare center, taking the young children out of the streets and creating the youth clubs in that area. So that's a person. But when there was violence engulfing us in KwaZulu-Natal and here in Gauteng, she was the first to be there to comfort the people. She was the first to pick up the bodies and motivate us not to despair in the struggle. That's a person who was certainly bidding a farewell. But she might have passed on, but her spirit continued to live among all of us here in the stadium, among all of us here in South Africa and the whole world, because of her relentless fight and courage to fight the apartheid regime and bring the democracy we are enjoying today.
Of course, and Minister, I was speaking with Minister Melusi Gigaba earlier, and he was talking about the leaders who were born there in the 1940s, in the 1950s, their relentless spirit to fight for justice, to fight for what was right. And he made a passing comment to say that, that spirit, it's lacking right now. I mean, what's your view on it, and how do we revive it, particularly as we strive to fight against equitable justice in terms of economic distribution for all?
Yes, I think with the meeting we had in Nasrec in December, this spirit is starting to reignite again. It's burning within the liberation movement, it's burning in government, it's burning among our community. There's a renewed hope under the new leadership of the ANC led by Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. There's a renewed hope that the ANC is taking a new gear in the economic emancipation and radical socio-economic transformation of our country. Some of the policies, for instance, we've taken, they were heavily debated. The policy on the land. Land is crucial. We're not just talking about the farming land, which is so desperately needed for our food security. There is land hunger even in the urban areas where our people need to live and work. So with this new renewed hope, I think, and Comrade Winnie will be resting in peace knowing that her movement, the movement she never deserted, is on the right track, is linking with the people, is linking with the aspiration of the people. That's why there's such a positive mood in the country today, because the spirit of those who led before us is reigniting among our communities again.
And another memory that people are really bringing out since the passing of Mama Winnie is just how much of a fighter she was against patriarchy. Minister, allow me to put you on the spot there, because earlier on this morning when I arrived, I was speaking with some of the ladies from the ANC Women's League, and they were saying that, you know, it is our time right now as women to be heard within this organization. In your portfolio and as a member of the ANC, how are you going to ensure that the spirit of patriarchy is really fought against?
Yeah, Comrade Winnie, as you know, was a president of the Women's League, but she was always a leader of women. She was leading at an early age, leading women here against the past laws, leading women against the oppression, leading women against the Suppression of Communism Act. But I remember very well, in our conference in 1991, the first conference after the unbanning, the night where the conference nearly came to a standstill, because she was among the leaders who were insisting that we should have a fairer representation of women. In that conference, we came up with a 30% representation. But as she continued to fight with other women, we ended up with at least 50% representation of women. That is power to the majority and the women which were leading. So those legacies, for instance, if you check the social grants, the majority of the beneficiaries are women. That's why, as government of the ANC, we are saying we'll continue to pay these grants without disruption. Whether we're changing the service provider, we're there with the people on the ground, explaining to them that this change is not a negative change to them, but it's a positive change.
And Minister, can you just take us into your confidence? That transition of service providers of social grants, is it going accordingly?
The transition is going very well. I was part of those ministers who were visiting rural areas. I was in Alfred Nzo in the Eastern Cape, Tabankulu municipalities, working with our councillors and mayors, working with our traditional leaders. Our people are happy with this transition, and will continue to ensure that it is a smooth transition in honor of Comrade Winnie Mandela, who cared so much about them.